Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Shovel and I am here back again in Minecraft. Sorry for a bit of the delay on the episodes here, but as you know, Copycats is running this server and he was out of town for a little bit of time, so I couldn't really spend any time here on the server. But that's okay because I have an awesome episode planned out for today. Because rather than just talk about, what I'd like to live in one day, which is a giant tree house if you do not know, I'm finally going to start building it. Now, I've never actually built anything like this before, and I know I'm going to need a little bit more supplies probably. But as you can see, I have quite a bit of wood saved up. I know for sure I'm going to need more leaves, but this might actually be enough wood for now. So I'm going to grab some of this and get started. So, I'm not really sure exactly how I want to set this up to be built, but I think what I'm probably going to do is set up kind of like a basic trunk size of the area of the tree, and then add like the natural contours to it after. So I'll start with something more unnatural looking, and I guess just expand it out. I do have kind of like a vision of what I would like it to look like, but oh yeah, that's right, we can place blocks sideways. That's going to make this actually probably a little bit harder. So I do have an idea of what I would like it to look like. I'm going to try my best to make that look proper, and that is probably going to get annoying. But I'm going to do my best to see if I can make this look the way I want it to, and see how that goes. I think I shouldn't probably have too much trouble because, nothing says I can't just tear some of it down. I'm thinking maybe this size will be about right. It's going to be round-ish. I think I'm going to start with the trunk just nice and straight up, and then I'm going to add like some roots coming out of the sides, curling around the hilltop here. I think this is a decent trunk size. I can always make it bigger, but it's a little bit tougher to make it smaller, so I'm not too afraid to just make it a little bit on the big side right now. So I'm happy to finally be working on this because I've talked about it quite a bit, but I've never actually started anything with it. So I have brought a water bucket and some ladders so that I can climb up and down it if I fall, which I most definitely will. So I think this is going to end up looking awesome. What I have kind of pictured is just this giant tree with like sprawling roots covering the hill, and up in the top this big, tree full of leaves with, you can see kind of like a bit of a wooden tree house poking through, and I want to have like maybe a dock with like air balloons on it or something, like hot air balloons and that. To me, personally, the vision that I have, I think it's going to look awesome. Hopefully I can actually get it to look exactly like I want it to. But I think starting off like this is, even though it's not going to look good right at the beginning, I think this is probably the best way I can do this to shape it. Because no matter what, you have to start off a little bit more man-made looking, because I will want it hollow, and it will be kind of a waste of wood to fill the entire thing, considering I will have underneath this somewhat of a basement. I'm going to pretty much hollow out this entire hill. I'll probably run into my old house that's underneath here, but that does not matter because that's where I'm going to put my storage room, and the storage room is going to be, I guess, kind of like my big redstone project for now for this server. But I wanted to make sure that I got this tree started first, because now I'm going to know whereabouts it's going to be. So I'm going to make this pretty high up. I don't know how high we are now. Yeah, we're pretty high up already. But because of the new height limit, which I guess it's probably not new anymore, but the existing height limit, I guess, is a better way of putting it, I will be able to build this very high and not have to worry. And even though it's kind of annoying while placing the logs to get them sideways, so I can't walk around and just place them as easily as I used to be able to, it's going to make this tree build look like 10 times as good, because roots are not just going to be vertical logs always. I can make it look proper. The branches can be nice and straight on the horizontal as well, so you're not going to see the grain of the wood. So I do think it's going to make it look a lot better. And I'm actually going through the wood pretty quick. Maybe I don't have enough. I definitely want it to be taller than all these trees here. I know the trunk is probably not going to be taller, but I want at least the top of the leaves to be taller. I will probably have to take some of those down because they're going to be a little bit in the way. But for now, I'm just going to leave that And I know I'm not doing this out of jungle wood. I don't know why, but I've never been a huge fan of like the texture on the jungle wood. I find that I really prefer the look of, I guess this is oak? I think this is oak. But yeah, I prefer the look of the oak on it. I think the jungle wood is almost has like a, I don't know, it has like a pinkish texture to it, I don't know. Either way, I tend to prefer this a little bit. And right up the center here, there is going to be somewhat of a ladder. And let's see how tall exactly this is so far. I'm just gonna ride my water bucket down. And so far... well, I'm not gonna lie, that does not look very good right now, but that's okay, because it will be improving, but I think I like the thickness of it. I don't really want to add roots now or anything. I want to get the main center of it done first, but I'm probably going to have like some roots. Things are going to be coming out. I'll have things coming down like this. And again, these are all going to change probably. I'm going to adjust them. These are probably going to be thicker, but the general idea is probably here. And I'm going to be doing this all the way around, some bigger roots, some smaller roots. And that does not look good at all. I'm going to flip these this way. Have it come down somewhat like this. And maybe have it arc up again. I'm not probably the best at building, I guess, organic looking things. I do a lot better with doing things that are more man-made looking. So I'll probably be better at designing the actual treehouse itself, but not as good at designing this, like the actual tree that it's sitting in. But something like that, it is a work in progress. Okay, so that does not look so great right now. But this is going to require a lot of shaping, and hopefully I can get this to look a little bit better, you know? And these ladders are not going to stay here, but for the time being I'm going to put these so I can climb back up. So this might turn out to be a little bit harder than I thought it would be, but hopefully we can make this work. I'm thinking that maybe I know it's not going to be straight up and down like this. I don't know if maybe it should be, I know it should be wider at the base, it should probably get a little bit thinner in the middle and then start to spread out again. So I'll see what I can do to make that happen. I'll probably do some of the shaping of it off camera just because it'll require a lot for me, kind of like trial and error. Because I want to get this looking just right. I don't want it looking the way it does now for very long. Because to be honest, it is kind of ugly right now. But I will make this general structure here. I will probably make it a little bit thinner in the center and then build it up on the outside, close to the bottom and closer up on the top. But the wider it is, to make it have that, I don't want it to be like a super thick short tree. I want it to be like a taller, elegant looking tree, if that makes any sense. So I will probably be building this quite tall, and I might actually have it taller than the other trees around it, just with the trunk itself. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do, but the center of the tree definitely needs, it's not going to be straight like this, it definitely needs to curve in a little bit here, you know, come towards me on that side, go inwards here, and at the bottom it has to branch out more and be thicker. I need more, I guess, almost like bark quality on it. It needs a lot of things right now, and we're not even going to start thinking about what the branches are going to look like at the top, because we want this trunk to be doing well first. I think I'll do one more row here, and go down and see how that looks height-wise, and then we'll work on some of the contours of it. I don't know how long exactly I've been going for now, This episode will go a little bit longer. Where's my ladder? There we go. As you can see, there's a little bit of lag on the server, but it's not a big deal. Well, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look great right now. It's definitely too straight up and down, but we all knew that it was going to look somewhat like this when I started out, because we're going to be adding in those tree contours later. But the roots, I can kind of see how they could start to look better later on, but there's gonna have to be certain things changed about them. They can't look too squared off. They have to have some nice natural looks to them. So hopefully I can get that started to look good at least. I think what I should probably do here is add on to the base a little bit. Make it a little bit wider down here, and I should probably have some torches around here. But you know what I'm actually going to do? I am going to cut until I get to daytime again. So I will be back in just a second. Okay, and I am back. It's now daytime again, and I still forgot torches, but it's going to be daytime for a bit. Sun just rose, and I'm in the tree next to this, and it still looks bad. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look that great from any angle, but hopefully we can get this sorted out a little bit. So I'm going to keep widening out the base here a little bit, and this is a little bit tougher than I thought it would be just because the logs tend to flip. It's kind of like placing pistons. Pistons are never, I find, that easy to place, because you always have to have some interesting angles to place them down, but we can definitely get this to look a lot better. I think what's really going to help it is when I bend this in a little bit, but not on every side. I don't want it to be uniform. I want it to be a little bit different, you know. A tree is not uniform in any way. It's kind of like a little bit, I don't want to say like randomly placed, but it doesn't have a very man-made look to it, which is what I'm kind of struggling to do right now. So I think maybe one of the best things I probably could do is kind of just place some blocks at random, like not just run around and spam blocks everywhere, but to not try to plan out too much what exactly I'm placing and be okay with some blocks kind of like out of place. So if I put one, that is annoying. So if I put one a little bit out of place, it not really mattering, leave it there. Maybe it'll look good. Maybe it'll really help to get that natural look. We can always hope. So I was trying to just do the corners, but maybe I'll place one like right there, you know, do that every so often, help give that scattered look to it a little bit. And hopefully that will help with the overall natural look of it. And I'll build myself back up here. Again, I'll just leave things like that for now. And looks it looks a little bit better. Well, not really. Not yet. This needs to definitely go a little bit higher. Get this going maybe a row or two higher, and then we need to start building out again, because remember, it's going to be very wide at the bottom, and it will hopefully get nice and narrow up in the center. I will also use this to build myself up to where it's going to kind of like contour in. I want it to be a nice gradual thinning out as it gets higher up, and then I want it to slowly get wider again up at the top where it spreads out into branches for leaves. And the leaves, I have actually done some stuff with building, like, I wouldn't say large trees before, but I've put some leaves on some trees that other people have built in the past, and putting down the leaves is actually pretty fun. It's probably going to be the best part of this, because putting down the leaves, it is a lot less technical, I guess would be a good way of putting it. You just you walk around, spam them around, and it ends up looking pretty good, you know. Come down, look to see where it looks a little bit thinner, and you just put some more in, look where it looks too thick, and it shouldn't be too difficult to do just simply because a lot of the leaves are going to be getting taken away anyways, because there are going to be the house inside. So, I don't know really how I'm going to adjust this yet, because it's still, you know, not looking so hot, but I will figure out a way of doing this. I think maybe I will build myself up about 3, take a step in here, and build a little bit inside this. Cut out a nice ring here for myself to walk in, and we'll build inside a little bit to start getting it a little bit more thin. I might mess around with this a little bit off camera soon, see if I can get it to look just a little bit better. But for now, I will continue doing it like this. See, I'm very much used to like my redstone creation style of building, where I build like say an arena or something, and for the most part it's just a lot of very man-made looking stuff. It's not anything natural ever, but this is why it's going to be kind of different for me. Hopefully I can get it to look proper. We'll see how this starts out looking here. If I place this here, it's going to be sideways, yeah. Well, I can jump and do it. Actually, I'll probably do this from inside. There we go. That's a much better place. So hopefully this ends up looking the way I've planned it out to, because if it looks the way I've planned it out to, it's going to be absolutely awesome. We're going to have, well, even though there's only 3 people in the server, we're going to have the best house in the server. Because there is Copycat and another friend that I've never really formally introduced on my channel. He doesn't make videos, he does have a YouTube channel he plans to start soon. You will see him a lot of times more in my Call of Duty videos. But I've never really pointed him out because he doesn't make videos yet. But he does Call of Duty and as well Minecraft. And I think I missed a block down there, yeah. But he's an awesome guy, doesn't make videos yet as I said, but I'm sure he will eventually. He does not so much redstone or anything like that, he's more of the large build kind of person. He'll do those big fancy builds. He might probably be able to come over at some point and help me make this look a little bit better. And we're just gonna dig our way out here and mess up the roots a little bit. That's okay, they're probably not going to stay there. Well, that looks absolutely terrible, so I am going to mess around with this a little bit on my own and see if I can get it to look a little bit better. And until then, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.